Well, hello again. Mr. Olson here. I am going to go through a pretty simple project today. The intention being that I will make something pretty simple, and then you guys could choose to do something much more complex if you want to. So I can basically lay down the concept we're talking about here. And what we're going to be making is a simple leather wallet, somewhat similar to this in terms of complexity. Not quite as complicated as some of the other objects you see on here. But if you want to make them more complicated, you could do that. You could also look online for different designs for different wallets. If you want to cut out something really complicated, that's fine. I'm going to do something really pretty simple to try to keep this video fairly short. But I'm just basically going to outline the steps, and we're going to create a little simple, you might call it a coin purse is what we're going to be doing, or a small little buttoned wallet. It's going to have a leather button on it, as I'm currently thinking. Okay, we're going to start out by opening up SketchUp 2017. And I'm going to think about how big I want my wallet to be. I'm thinking about the size of my iPhone here. That's probably a good idea. So let's see, this is about 2.5 by 5, I think is what that is. So I'm going to go 2.5, comma 5. So this is 2.5 by 5 inches. I'm going to go ahead and double that up, because this is basically going to fold over on itself. Let's go ahead and do camera stand over use top. Uh-oh, what happened? There we go. Okay, so that's going to fold over on itself. And I actually think there's going to be, well, it's going to, when it gets folded, it's probably going to lose a little bit of that distance, but not a whole lot. Now let's also add we're going to add basically a lip, a fold over. So let's fold that halfway. So that was 2.5, so let's go 5 by 1.25. I think that was 2.5. Isn't that what I said I was going to do? That doesn't look half. That's 2.5. That's 1.25, so that is in fact half. I think I want to go a little bit more than that. I'm going to go ahead and move this line another 1/4 inch. So now we're looking at 1.5 inches. Actually, I'm planning on putting a button, so I'm going to go a full 1 3/4. So that's another 0.25. So let's see, we've got, this is 1 3/4. I think that's good. Alright, now to show you what this is going to do, oops. This thing is going to, if I grab the rotate button, which is right there, I'm going to need to I need to create a shape out here to help me guide myself as I rotate. I'm going to hold the button, hold this right there, hold the shift key down, and that will help me to make sure that I am escape. Put that there, hold the shift key. Start by selecting this, grab the rotate, put that there, hold the shift key, and I'm going to click, and I'm going to rotate. So that's going to fold over like that. And then this top is going to fold over like that, creating basically a slim wallet. And I'm going to put a button right there so it'll kind of hold tight. Okay, so that's in case you weren't getting what I was planning on doing with this thing. Let's get rid of all that. Alright, so I'm going to want to sew this. I'm going to be using a needle to do this. I'm going to come in 3/16 on the edge on both sides. 3/16. And I'm going to actually create my holes ahead of time. I'm going to put them 1/8 of an inch apart, so I'm going to go ahead and do see, I'm going to do one hole right at the top, I think. Now I'm going to put one, I'm going to do the first hole a 1/16 of an inch down, because I really want this to kind of button up right up at the top. And then I'm going to do an 1/8 of an inch going down this side. Another 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to make that hole pretty small. That's a 1/64 of an inch radius is what that is, which means that it'll be a 1/32 of an inch. That's too small. I'm going to do a 1/16 of an inch. Yeah, I'm going to do this a little differently. I think I want to make my... Actually, you know what? No. Control Z. Put those back. I think 1/32 of an inch in radius is going to be a 1/16 of an inch in diameter. And I think that's going to be pretty good. I'm going to select that. And I'm going to hold the control button down while I move it to there. And I'm going to type times 30 maybe? Times 40? Okay, so that did it. And conveniently, let's see. Actually, I'm going to do times 20. Because I'm going to want to make sure these things match up. Which is actually why I'm going to do this. I'm going to delete that one and this one. I'm also going to delete this thing here. I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to shift ungrab that. And I'm going to move a copy of these to over here. And delete those. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this thing here, I'm going to explode it so that it will all become one group. See how these things are. Let me edit, delete guides. Okay, so what I've done, I'm probably moving a little too fast, which is why I'm going to Control Z all my way through all the way in the end. But one way or the other, I've created this thing and turned it into a group, including all the holes. But since I'm going to later on be laser cutting this, I'm going to go ahead and delete all these things while I'm at it. I need to delete the surfaces. Oops, Control Z. I need to delete the surfaces. I should have done this earlier before I copied and pasted these things. Control Z. Delete, 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 delete. I should have done this earlier. Which actually I'm going to accomplish in a moment. Control Z. I'm going to grab all of these except for that top one. I'm going to delete these. And I'm going to grab all of these. And I'm going to move them. Move a copy of them over to here. And then I'm going to delete that surface. Alright, so now I'm going to grab this. And I'm going to copy and paste it over here. And I'm going to rotate it. Which means that once again I'm going to select this thing. I'm actually going to make it a group. And then I'm going to rotate it, holding the shift key once again so that I maintain that perspective. I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees, or 180 degrees. And then I'm going to move this thing into place up here. I'm going to go ahead and explode that. because I need to delete that line in the middle. Alright, let me get rid of this thing. Alright, let's take a look at what I've done here. Camera, standard views, top. Alright, so this thing is going to fold right here. Because it's leather, I don't need to create any sort of dotted line and such. It's going to fold, and all of these holes are going to line up with all of these holes. So we're going to fold it over, and we're going to sew from this edge right here. I'm going to go all the way down the bottom, which will basically create a pouch. Okay. Now let's deal with the top. Oops. Control Z, explode, and delete that. Okay. Now this thing is going to fold over, and it's going to line up with this thing here. Because this is going to fold over, this is going to fold over on top of this, and it's going to have a button. So let's see, that button I'm going to make it out of leather, and I'm going to put it, this was, so halfway down this, so 1 3/4 means that I'm going to put this 7/8 of an inch right here, and I'm going to put it right in the middle, which that'll line up to the middle for me. And I'm going to attach a button on here, which is going to be a circle. I think it's going to be, let's see, I'm getting myself confused here. It's going to be a circular button. That's 7/16, so that would be 7/8. We're going to go with no, 0.375, which is half of. That's 3/4 of an inch is what that is. All right. So this is a button, and that button is going to have. It's going to be sewn on. And I'm going to come in here, 1/8 of an inch. No, I'm going to come in here 1/16 of an inch that way, 1/8 of an inch this way, and I'm going to put 2 of those little holes here. That was 1/32 of an inch. And I'm going to move this thing down here. There we go, there's those 2. Delete that, delete that. Okay. So this represents the button. I'm going to copy and paste that over here because we're going to cut that out separately. And we're going to delete this, so that now that button is going to get sewn on the top of this. Edit, delete guides. These 2 holes I'm going to use to sew this button on the outside of it. And I'm going to create a, I'm going to change the shape of that. I'm getting confused. I'm not going to make the button a whole button. I'm going to make it something like this. It's not letting me work that small. It's saying I'm too small. So I'm going to, I guess I'm going to make that a little bigger, and maybe hopefully that'll work. There we go, that worked. So that went from about, I do want to make them the same. I'm trying to make this a tangent line, which you learned in the last video that we did. But okay, so the way I'm thinking of that is that button is going to, you're going to feed it through the bottom. Let me put the hole in place. Okay, so this was 7/8 of an inch, so I need to come over this way, 7/8 of an inch. And I need to find the center of this thing. and the width of this thing was 3/4 of an inch. So I think I'm going to put a 1-inch slice in here. 0.5, 1-inch slice there. I think I'm actually going to give that cut a little bit of depth. I'm going to go with a 1/16 of an inch. And I'm going to delete that line now. Alright, so I believe I'm actually done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out all this stuff out of leather. This piece is going to, this hole is going to line up with that hole, and I'm going to sew that whole side down, and I'm going to sew this whole side down. Before I do that, I'm going to sew this button onto the back side of this piece right here, and that's going to allow me to fold this over and fit this through that flap. However, I don't think that I need to have these square edges up here. I think that is a missed opportunity. So this was, what was this measurement? That was 7/8. I'm going to do 7/8. Oops. 7/8. 7/8. Ooh, that was not a good thing. I don't want, when I did that, the whole thing became a, everything filled in, and I don't want that. So I'm going to do a trick here. I'm going to make this a group. I'm going to add this line in place here. I'm going to add the same line in place over here. Then I'm going to select this group and I'm going to explode it. And in the process, I avoided it doing that thing that I did not want it doing. Okay. I think that also it might be nice to put a little curve right here. Let's go with, what is that? That was 7/8, right? So let's go with, see, that was an 1/8, so let's do 1/4 of an inch. No. 3/8. Yeah, 3/8 is good. 3/8 is good. And I'm going to come down here 1/4 of an inch, I think. And I'm going to put in a little bit of a curve. Ooh, same deal again. Did the same damn thing again. I don't want to do that, because that's going to be a lot of work trying to get rid of all that stuff. So I'm going to, once again, grab everything, make it a group, do this again, and then this is clearly an issue with SketchUp. It should not be doing that. And then grab that, explode it, and then I'm going to delete that right there. I don't know if you can see what this is going to do, but this is basically going to fold up here, and it's going to end up creating a kind of, right about here, it's going to put a curve. So that when you open up the wallet, it'll have a nice little curve. Okay, and I'm going to take this opportunity to try to save a little bit of my leather by putting this thing over here. Shouldn't have copied that. I should have actually moved it. Edit, delete guides. And that is, as they say, that, I believe. Okay. Now, next part of this video, I'm going to actually create this wallet. Alright. Okay, so now I'm actually going to cut this form out of leather. To do that, I have to have the pro version of SketchUp in order to be able to export what I need, which is called a PDF file. I've got the image here nice and large in my space, and if I go to camera, you'll see that I am in parallel projection, which I want to be, and I also want to be looking down from the top. So it's a nice, clean, straight from the top image. Parallel projection is going to eliminate any sort of perspective that the program was trying to throw out at it. Now I'm going to File, Export, 2D Graphic, and under here I want to find PDF. I'm going to title this Leather Wallet, and I'm going to export that. Yeah, I'm going to export to the desktop so I can find it. Okay, so now I've exported that. It's right there as PDF. I'm going to go ahead and go into my glowforge. www.app. Actually, I think I just need to type app.glowforge and it pops up. And hopefully it's still got the same password. I'm going to create new design. It's a little hard to see, but that's a piece of leather inside there. I'm going to import artwork, and I'm going to search. I'm going to upload from the desktop, and it's called Leather Wallet. It's going to upload that design. Take a little bit of time here. And I'm going to put that low here so that I'm not going to waste any of that leather. Looks like that fits pretty good. I need to enter some settings. And unfortunately, I'm trying to remember what those settings were. It's been a while since I've done leather. I'm going to go back to my home and I'm going to see if I can find something that I already cut out of leather before in an effort, because it will most likely still have the numbers for me. But if you've worked with materials long enough, then there we go. There's a piece of wallet right there. Hopefully it'll maintain the numbers that were on it before, and I can take a look at those numbers. Looks like 250, 100 is what I'm looking for. That's going to cut. That's going to be the cut, and this is an engrave, I believe. Let's see. That was an engrave. It must be the 250, 100 is what I'm guessing that is. Let's go back to home and open up the leather wallet that I just did a second ago. And let's enter those in under manual. It seems like it's going too slow, honestly. I think this leather is a little thinner than that leather that I had that day. So I'm going to go with, you know what, I'm going to stick with the 250 and full power, which is the 100. Actually, it wasn't full power, it was 100. So let's go ahead and move that down to, that should be fine. Okay. And I need to select a material. I'm going to choose uncertified material, and I need to give it a thickness. The board that this leather is sitting on is 1/8 of an inch thick. The leather itself is about 1/16 of an inch thick, so I'm looking at 3/16 of an inch thick. And there we go. My assistant will push a button right now. And I can hear that it's going to take 1 minute and 17 seconds, and this will be cut. So at this point, I'll make a video of me sewing up this wallet. All right, so now I have the leather cut out. I have some string, which was specifically made for working with leather. And I'm going to thread the needle. This needle is made for working with leather as well. I'm going to put a knot on the end of it. Run it through a couple of times. I have a different colored thread. I think I'm going to do think I'm going to do something where I go up one side, one color, and then I go up the other side, or then I go back with it the other color. So, so I'm going to start by going through here. And then through there. So those two holes are now going to line up. I'm going to pull through, flip it around, go through the next hole. Hole number 2. Hole number 2. So now I have a button here, which I'm going to put on this direction. I'm going to go through here. Go through here. Back through here. Through here. Tie that. Nice and tight. Snip off that excess. I'm going to leave that there like that. Go ahead and go through a couple times. This thing is intended to go through here like this. Probably better if it was an actual button as opposed to this little leather deal. It goes through there and up like that. And that is the intent in terms of the leather button. I'll get one last thing to finish this thing up. So there is a simple little leather wallet. with a kind of a way to put a button on there to hold it, a little coin purse. We could also have engraved something onto the back of this. We had an image from the internet or some sort of drawing, some sort of black and white drawing. We could easily have engraved something on here, words or otherwise. Okay, so that's what you guys are going to be working on.